What if your team gets downsized tomorrow morning? What if your laptop simply refuses to boot up when you have a critical deadline? What if a family member needs immediate hospitalization? Most financial videos treat you like a number. They give you arbitrary goals like save 1 crore or invest early in mutual funds. Phrases that sound great on paper but do absolutely nothing to stop your heart from beating faster tonight. Today, we are deleting the fluff. There is an exact mathematical threshold where your biology physically shifts gears. It is not $1 million. For an adult living in India today, it is your first 1 lakh rupees sitting purely in liquid cash. Not in equity, not in locked funds, but in a boring separate account. Let's look at the exact physics of what happens to your life the moment you cross this invisible line. Imagine walking into a grocery store. When you are living paycheck to paycheck, you are not just choosing food. You are constantly running a survival calculator in your head. Branded versus generic. Buying the large pack versus the small one to preserve cash flow. Every single minor transaction burns cognitive energy. Neuroscientists call this decision fatigue. When your cash balance hits absolute zero, every decision feels dangerous. Now imagine that sudden warning beep on your two-wheeler or car. The mechanic looks at it and says, "Sir, the clutch plate is gone. Cost is 12,000 rupees." If your account is empty, that 12,000 isn't just a bill, it's a micro disaster. Your cortisol levels spike. You have to route it to a high-interest credit card EMI, or you have to borrow from family, destroying your weekend peace. But imagine the exact same scenario when you have 1 lakh rupees sitting in your backup fund. You don't panic. You get slightly annoyed, you transfer the money via UPI, you fix the asset, and you go to sleep. The physical events of life did not change. The repair cost did not change. But because that 1 lakh exists, a systemic financial catastrophe instantly shrinks into a minor weekend inconvenience. That is what your brain gains: breathing room. The primary benefit of this money doesn't actually come from spending it. It comes from the quiet confidence of knowing it is there. Imagine you are trapped in a toxic professional environment. Your manager is exploiting your time, demanding late-night logins, and eroding your mental health. If you have zero savings, you are a hostage. You have to swallow your self-respect and say, "Yes, sir," because your landlord demands rent on the first of every month. Desperation is highly visible. Recruiters smell it, and bad managers exploit it. But if you possess a 1 lakh cushion, your posture changes. You do not become arrogant, but you gain the strategic leverage to negotiate. It gives you a realistic 60 to 90-day professional runway. If an upskilling certification or a specific industry course worth 25,000 rupees drops into your lap that could permanently bump your trajectory, you don't overthink it for 3 weeks. You pull the trigger. Broke people spend money to avoid crises. Secure people spend money to capture asymmetric opportunities. You might think saving an entire lakh sounds completely impossible right now with your current monthly obligations. But human psychology works like a flywheel. Saving your first 15,000 to 20,000 rupees is painful. It requires a radical shift in your daily identity. You have to actively choose to stop clicking on impulsive food delivery apps at midnight or skip a random luxury purchase. You are actively fighting your old dopamine loops. But once you hit the 50,000 mark, a fascinating rewiring happens. Your bank balance ceases to be an abstract number. It becomes your scorecard. The second 50,000 requires half the willpower of the first because the systems are already automated. You stop looking at saving as a temporary diet or sacrifice. You start looking at it as an investment in your personal sovereignty. This entire transformation does not require an inheritance or a lottery win. It requires you to enforce one absolute rule over your bank account. the 10% absolute rule. The very second your monthly salary hits your primary account, before you pay a single app subscription, before you clear a single retail bill, move 10% into a completely separate, friction-locked account. Label it your freedom shield. Stop staring at complex multi-crore investment tickers if you don't even have a basic operational foundation. Stop trying to run before your financial floor is stable. Your first true milestone is 1 lakh rupees. It is practical. It is mathematically precise. And it is the exact boundary line between midnight survival panic and absolute tactical peace of mind. If this direct reality check changed how you look at your wallet today, hit the subscribe button.